Hi everybody, Eddie here. I'm going to give you tips and tricks on things I wish I knew sooner when I started my RuneScape 3 journey. This is helpful for anybody brand new to the game or veteran players alike, and let's get right into it. Tip number one is that you can load in a UI from any player inside the game. All you need to know is their full username, and then you type it into the settings when you're trying to load in your interface. When you load in these interfaces, it will steal the UI straight from that player's account. So if you're trying to make yourself a UI that is already kind of fleshed out, you can go ahead and snipe it from your homeboys and be able to customize it any way you need to and be able to make it the best it can be for your needed purposes. Click the gear icon or hit escape to access your settings. It'll pop up the information window. Hit edit layout mode, type in the player's name. It'll give you all of their presets that they have for the UIs. You select one of those and then you go to town. Did you know that your ability bars are way more than actually just proccing your abilities? You can use your ability bar for a number of reasons. You can bind weapons to your bar, and then that way for whatever keybind you are using at the moment, you can simply drag the item onto that bar, and then boom, you have it available to be able to swap weapons. You can use it for throwing vulnerability bombs, any type of bomb. You can have a setting where it goes to your target, and then you can also bind potions as well. You can bind food. There is a lot of options and customizations that you can use for your ability bars. This is also fantastic for any type of teleports. So say you want to go to max guild, you can just drag the max guild icon onto your bar, and then you simply just press that keybind, or just have it readily available for you to teleport on your bar. You can also even, one of my favorite ones I like to use personally is the pocket slot. If you look at your equipment tab here, you can drag all of these icons onto your ability bar. My favorite one is the pocket slot item. That way, in case you ever are running a expensive book, like for example your grimoire, or if you have a scripture, or if you're running a scripture of Bic, the one for clue scrolls, you can simply have it equipped right here, and then you can turn it on and off just from the ability bar itself, always making sure if you need to have quick accessibility to it, it is readily available to you. The next tip is going to be leveraging those community hubs. I'm talking Discord, friends chats, clans chats. There's a lot of ways to connect with a lot of different players in the modern MMO space, and that is going to be through either external means like Discord, Twitter, your social medias, all that type of shit, or you can do it in-game with friends chats and clan chats. There are a number of friends chats. Friends chats are essentially like little chat rooms that are meant to be hosting a large number of people trying to do the same exact thing, right? Friends chats to use myself is the PVMing FC for learner friendly and finding teams for PVM. Really hot one right now for the Amasket finding teams. And also there's going to be one for Croesus. There's ones for PvP if you're looking for PvP stuff, and also looking into clans. You can find a number of clans on the official RuneScape Discord. You can find it through RuneApps, which is a website that lists up every single popular clan that's inside the game. And you can also find official clans that are hosted on the RuneScape Discord just by going into the tabs here and finding like-minded groups inside the Discord. The Discords for the RuneScape is ginormous. You can find a lot of other associated Discords for like finding PVM, finding a whole bunch of other things. It is a tremendous tool in how I have been able to get into teams, meet a bunch of people, and has made the MMO space a much more friendly and a lot more accessible thing in the day-to-day. Something that I wish I knew earlier about RuneScape was that your gear is going to be one of the most biggest staples of your RuneScapian journeys. A lot of times people like to swap out their gear and try a different style every now and then. I have learned that it is not worth selling and then rebuying and then reselling and then rebuying a lot of the gear that you get, especially when you are in the late game. There may be a time when an item gets buffed. There might be a time where a combat style is more preferable over a different combat style at certain bosses or going into new boss encounters. You may learn that you may not like a combat style. I highly recommend not just selling your stuff immediately. You may have a use for it one day, and I highly recommend just keeping it and slowly accumulating it over time. A great example for me is my Elite Tectonic. I've had Elite Tectonic for years, and there was a time where it sat in my bank for almost 6 months, completely untouched. And then one day I decided to use magic when the 295 weapons came out, and I have since only been a magical Shadow Wizard Money Gang nerd. It has been a ton of fun, and that is only a huge credit to not wanting to sell my gear and having to repurpose it once again and reperk it, all of those things. Highly recommend just keeping your gear, let it accumulate inside of your bank. One of the best things I ever did was learn how to read abilities. There are a lot of people who do not know what their abilities do during combat, and that is okay. However, if you want to be able to get better and improve those PvM skills and take on some of the bigger baddies inside the game, you're gonna have to know exactly what you gotta do. Best way to do that is honestly just going ahead, taking a little bit of time to read what those abilities do. You'll be very surprised on like the overall effects for them and how you may be improving or hindering your overall PvM experience. A really good tip, exactly just for like magic, is inside of Sunshine, it boosts all of your attacks inside the Sunshine during that duration. Except it doesn't. It boosts all attacks that aren't bleeds. So for example, if you use Sunshine right now, and then you try and use Greater Concentrated Blast, this will deal more damage. However, if you then use Combust, this Combust will do the same damage outside as it would inside a Sunshine rotation. So you don't want to be using Combust a lot inside of a Sunshine. Main reason why is because it's not benefiting from the ultimate ability that you only have for a base of 30 seconds. So reading your abilities and understanding that concept will help you improve those PvM times and also have a much smoother combat experience. There's a lot of weird interactions with a lot of different things inside the combat triangle, so I highly recommend taking a little bit of time to read some of your abilities, and you might surprise yourself how much better you can improve when you truly understand what to do in those rotations. This might be one of the most controversial takes that I have on a tip from a player who's played a lot of RuneScape and has reached completion escape. Don't do your dailies every single day if it is literally all you're doing. This game has a ton of dailies that give you really good bonuses, XP, so on and so forth, and if you do them optimally, you will end up with a very far ahead account. However, they are extremely tedious, they can get very, very monotonous, and you might end up doing the same exact things every single time. I recommend picking like 2 to 3 dailies that you enjoy doing, or that you feel like you would really want to be doing, or that you know that they are just too good to pass up on, because I absolutely understand the want to be efficient, but if that is the only thing you're doing, you are efficiently removing the fun from what is a really good game. So I highly recommend maybe pick 2 or 3 dailies that you would like to do every day, every now and then, and just go from there. Maybe one day you're going on a bender, why not do all of them? But I don't think there's really a need to do every single daily thing that you possibly have to do to be able to maintain your account. Use the RuneScape Wiki as your second brain. The wiki is one of the best things about RuneScape because it is literally a gigantic mega base of anything I've ever seen. One of the most fleshed out wikis on the entire gaming space. It has a tremendous value that you can use for anything, and it's not the only thing you can use just for quest guides. You can use these for calculators on literally almost every single skill in the game and provide you an exact precise amount of what you may be training. It gives you a great idea for what you need to be looking towards if you're trying to find a efficient way or a better way to do something, or just trying to learn more about an item. And you can also, one of my favorite things about the wiki, so say you're going for an achievement called Final Boss, or like any type of achievement that requires like a checklist for some things. For me, I have to kill 100 of every single boss inside the game. If you want to check out the series right now, you can click this little button right here, and you can check out, and once you hit that requirement of 100 bosses, you can just mark these, and these will stay marked permanently. So when you come back to this page, you will be able to track all of your progress in one happy place. So use that wiki and be able to get a lot farther in all of your grinds. RuneScape has a ton of hidden settings that a lot of people don't like to dig through, and I have the most sleeper pick in my opinion, and a bonus tip for you. So if you're ever wondering how people are able to zoom all the way out and see all these things around them, it is amazing. This is great for PvM, it's great for clue scrolls, quests, just overall exploring the world. And the way you can get this set up is inside of your settings. Go into the camera mode, and you're going to be able to have 4 options. Everybody starts on modern, so which means you're only going to be able to have a certain fixed radius for your zoom, which is just going to be like this. Can't be able to zoom out any farther. This is as far as I can zoom in, and this is as far as I can zoom out. And then you have the classic. This is exactly how RuneScape was at the beginning of time, and this is as far as you can zoom out, as far as you can zoom in, and it only rotates at a set speed as opposed to rotating a lot faster. The one I like to use personally is Freedom. This is the one that allows you to zoom all the way out and see all these extra things, all these things around you, and be able to get a much bigger picture as well. There is also the option of Freedom Classic, which allows you to pretty much zoom out just about the same amount, and it will keep you centered at your screen. If you are in the modern setting, you're going to be, your camera will not be, your character will move a little bit out of center as opposed to when you're inside Freedom. So if you zoom and surge right here, your character moves a little bit ahead of you. However, if you're using the Freedom setting, you're going to be locked to the center of your screen at all times, and your character will not move away even when they're doing movement abilities, keeping you nice and centered at all times and making sure things are doing well. Make sure things are going nice and smooth. So if you want to have a much better experience or want to just play around with the settings yourself, please be sure to go into your camera settings and pick one of the 4 that are readily available right now. The bonus tip I was talking about is going to be the entity highlighter. So if you go into the settings again, search at the bottom, you type in highlight, and you're going to find yourself right at the bottom. Scroll all the way down. You're going to find this thing called entity highlight mode. What this will do, if you set it to mouse over, if you mouse over a item or a person, it'll have this ring around it, which will make it easier to select things and see things. You can differentiate the colors for whatever it may be. So say you want to do, if you want to make friendly and personal highlights, you can adjust those colors right here as well. It makes it a lot easier to pick things if you're doing PVM or doing something that is fast moving, or if you're just having a hard time seeing something, it allows that. You can do a border option or a silhouette option. The silhouette glows them entirely, making them super lit up. This is a really nice tool, and some people like to even use it when you have them turned on all the time. That way things are constantly lit up and you can see everything that is interactable inside the game. I hope you found these tips helpful, and I hope you learned something new today. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, if you want to learn anything else about RuneScape 3, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave me a like. Lets me know I'm doing something right, and you guys have a great day.